Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a special treat for you. It is almost asparagus season, and I was able to get asparagus at one of my local stores on sale for $1 off per pound. And so I thought this would be the perfect time to share this recipe with you from Dan's friend, Tyler. Tyler has been giving us jars of his pickled asparagus for the last couple of years, and it is absolutely delicious. It's got the perfect amount of spice and the perfect amount of heat. And so today I want to share this recipe with you with his permission so that you can preserve some of your asparagus harvest with this recipe. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you find this interesting, and we hope to see you around in the future. Let's get right into this. The first thing we're going to need to do is to make our brine. The first ingredient for our brine is some distilled water. We're putting in 7 1/3 cups of distilled water. I've already got it in my pan. The next ingredient is some white vinegar. For the white vinegar, we're going to add 3 1/3 cups of white distilled vinegar. And finally, we have 1/2 cup of pickling salt. We're going to go ahead and get this heating up on the stove. We're going to heat it through until the salt is dissolved and it's hot. And while we're doing that, we're going to prepare our jars. I've got 6 clean and sterilized quart jars. I like the wide mouth for this because it's just easier to get the asparagus out when it's done. So to each jar, we're going to add a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, and then 3/4 of a tablespoon of granulated garlic. I happen to have a lot of garlic powder on hand, so I'm going to use garlic powder. Garlic powder is more concentrated than granulated garlic, so we're going to use about half of the amount in our recipe. Next, tablespoon of minced onion. Now, a splash of prepared mustard. The prepared mustard I'm going to use is the stone ground Dijon mustard, and we're just going to put a little bit of a squirt in there. Tyler says the dill is optional, but we're going to go ahead and put it in. It's 1/2 teaspoon of dill. And then also 1/2 teaspoon of mustard seed. And if you don't have mustard seed, Tyler said that you can add like another 1/2 teaspoon of the prepared mustard. Finally, we're going to add the secret ingredient. Well, not really that secret, but these are habanero peppers. We're going to add 1 habanero pepper to each jar. I'm just going to take some of these out, make sure I wash my hands well before touching my eyes. And in one jar, I'm going to put 2 habaneros because I want to test it out. Tyler said that more than 2 habaneros is too hot. So we're going to try 2 in one of these. But I'm just going to take this habanero and I'm just going to cut it in half and add both halves in. Ooh, I can smell it. I'll go ahead and add that to all my jars right now and wash my hands. One thing that I am trying with my canning hot water is we have hard water, fairly hard water here on our acreage, and every time I can, I end up with residue in the pan, and on the jars and that I have to clean off, and I have to clean the pan with some vinegar water to get that out. But what I read is that you can actually just add some vinegar to the canning water and that will take care of that problem. So we're experimenting with that today. In my canning pot, I put half a cup of white distilled vinegar, and we'll see if that works. While we're waiting for our canning pot to come to a boil, we're going to go ahead and pack the asparagus in our jars. And as you can see, I've already cut the asparagus. I basically cut the ends off and then cut them in half so that they would fit well into the jars. And I've washed 6-quart jars, but I'm thinking that I might have more than 6 quarts, so I'll just fridge some if I have too much asparagus and do another batch. And I found that packing these, if you get a handful of about what looks like it will fit in the jar, and then put that in the top. If you try to like singly do it, it's hard to get it in there. So you want to just take a handful, drop it in there. You can always tuck in more, but it's hard if you do it in clumps because it gets stuck on each other. You want them to be down in the brine. We're going to be doing basic pickling recipes, so we're looking for about a 1/2 inch of headspace at the top. So we want our brine to go fairly close to the top there. So you pack as you go with that in mind. Okay, our canning pot is ready. We have a nice hot brine. So let's go ahead and fill our jars to a 1/2 inch of headspace. I'm going to wipe the edge with some white vinegar just to make sure we get a good seal. Another thing I'm trying is these reusable canning seals, and I'm still getting used to them, so I'm just going to do 1 jar with these to see if I can get it right. But the rubber seal goes in. That goes on top. Then with these canning seals, you don't seal them all the way down. You hold your finger, and when the jar starts to move, that's it. Then when you take it out, you will let it sit for 5 minutes or so and tighten that down. So it's not like the regular seals. And we're going to water bath can this for 30 minutes. Of course, you're going to water bath can it according to your altitude for pickles. I just want to show you that my jars are clean. I don't have any hard water deposits on them. And I don't know if you can see down in there, but there's no deposits except for the very bottom. There's a few of hard water on my canning pot. I am so impressed with that tip. So if you have hard water, add 1/2 cup of vinegar to your canning pot. I certainly hope that you try Tyler's recipe for spicy, hot, pickled asparagus. Thanks for being with us today. Don't forget to join us on Thursday for Thrifty Thursday, and we'll see you then.